In this session, we will be considering the topic solution of a system of linear equations. Quite often, it happens that when you apply mathematical methods to problems in science and engineering, the problem ultimately reduces to the problem of solving a system of equations simultaneously. If the members of this set are nonlinear, sometimes it becomes difficult to solve them, but methods of solving nonlinear system of equations are available in literature. Fortunately, many problems will reduce to a system of linear equations. Sometimes the number of equations will be very large. Now, a system of n linear equations in n unknown quantities x1, x2, xn can be written in this form a11 x1 plus a12 x2 etc. b1. Lastly, am1 x1 plus am2 x2 etc. amn xn is equal to bm. This system of m equations in n unknown quantities can be written in matrix form as ax is equal to b, where the m by n matrix A is equal to a11, a12 etc. is called the coefficient matrix, and this column matrix x1, x2, xn denoted by capital X is called the solution vector. This is the constant vector. Now, if I augment the matrix A by this column vector here, thereby obtaining this matrix which is called the augmented matrix. Now, we will be dealing with this augmented matrix because the rows of this augmented matrix, they represent the equations completely. For example, if we consider the first row a11 etc. b1, this represents the equation a11 x1 plus a12 x2 etc. a1n xn is equal to bm, that is the first equation. Similarly, the other rows represent the other equations. This is as far as the augmented matrix is concerned. Now, in the present session, we will be considering only a system of n linear equations in n unknown quantities, and among the linear equations, if all the b1, b2, bm are zeros, then we say the system is a homogeneous system, otherwise it is called a non-homogeneous system. Now, in today's session, we will consider a system of n linear equations which are non-homogeneous in n unknown quantities x1, x2, xn. We assume that the system has a unique solution, and we know that system will have a unique solution whenever the rank of A is equal to the rank of the augmented matrix K. Now, methods of solving system of n linear equations in n unknown quantities, they can be classified in two categories: direct methods, iteration methods. Now, in the present session, under direct methods, we will consider the Gauss-Jordan method, and under iteration methods, we will consider Jacobi and Gauss-Seidel methods of iteration. Now, first of all, we will consider the Gauss-Jordan method. This Gauss-Jordan method is a slight modification of our familiar elimination method. Now, because the augmented matrix K deals with or represents completely the system of equations, we will deal with the augmented matrix K. You are familiar with the elementary row operations on a matrix. Say for example, this Rij stands for the interchange of ith row and jth row. K times Ri stands for multiplication of all the elements of the ith row by a non-zero constant K, and Ri plus Krj standing for the jth row is multiplied by K and added to the ith row to obtain the new ith row. These are the elementary row operations. Now, in the Gauss-Jordan method, we start with K, consider the first row, we divide the first row by a11, the diagonal element called the pivot. That is, we are performing the elementary operation 1 by a11 into R1. Now, when a11 is equal to 0, what we do is we arrange the rows of this matrix by performing elementary row operations in such a fashion that the first pivot, that is the first row first column element, is non-zero. This process of rearranging the equations to obtain a non-zero pivot is called partial pivoting. Now, after making the partial pivoting if necessary, we divide the first row by the diagonal element, that is the pivot A11, thereby obtain 1 in the first row first column position. Using that 1 in the first row first column position and elementary row operations, we make the other elements in the first row first column as zeros. Thereby, in the first column we have 1, 0, 0, 0, etc. zeros. Then we do, if necessary, partial pivoting and make the second row second column element as 1 and make the other elements in the second column as zeros. We continue this process for until this augmented matrix K comes to the form I C, where I stands for the n by n unit matrix and C stands for a column consisting of constants C1, C2, Cn. And from this final form of the augmented matrix, you can read from each row the corresponding solution, namely x1 is equal to C1, x2 is equal to C2, etc. if C stands for the column matrix C1, C2, etc., Cn. Now, whenever we calculate the solution to a fixed number of decimal places, it is always advisable to perform partial pivoting and bring the numerically largest term into the position of the pivot. This reduces the rounding of error to a large extent. Now, to understand the Gauss-Jordan method, let us consider a simple example. Consider the problem of solving the system of linear equations given here. Now, for this given system of equations, the augmented matrix K is this. Now, in this augmented matrix, what is happening is we have in the first column the numerically largest element is here. So, we bring it to the first position by partial pivoting, namely we perform the R13 elementary row operation which interchanges the first row and the third row, thereby K becomes this matrix. Apply 1 by 10 R1 to get the first row pivot as 1. The first row now becomes this, and to make the other elements in the first column as zeros, we perform the row operations R2 plus 2R1, R3 minus 2R1 in this order, and thereby from this matrix we will get this matrix. Now, you can see the first column is 1, 0, 0. Now, we have to repeat this process for the second and third. Now, if you look at the second column consists 19.6, the largest number in this position in this third row. Therefore, we perform the interchange R23, the second and third rows are interchanged, thereby this matrix becomes this. Now, this is the pivot, second row pivot. We make the second row pivot as 1 by applying the elementary operation 1 by 19.6 into R2. Using 1 in this first position, we will make this element and this element as zeros by making the elementary operations R1 minus 0.2 into R2, R3 minus 3.4 into R2 in this order, thereby we get this matrix. Second column has 0, 1, 0. Now, we have this 10.581 in the third row pivot. We perform 1 by 10.581 into R3, thereby this becomes 1. Using this 1, we make the other elements in that column as zeros by performing the row operations R1 minus 0.122 into R3, R2 plus 0.112 into R3, thereby get this. Now, this is the final form of the augmented matrix. You see, this is of the form I 3 by 3 unit matrix, and this is the solution vector. So, from this, from the first row, you can immediately read x is equal to 1.001, from the second row y is equal to minus 2.001, from the third row z is equal to 3. Correcting to 2 decimal places, we get x is equal to 1, y is equal to minus 2, z is equal to 3. You can check by substituting these values in the given equations. Now, we shall consider the iteration methods. In the iteration method, we start with an approximate solution and we improve that solution in various iterations. Now, before obtaining this iteration procedure, we rewrite the given equations so that the coefficient matrix has diagonal dominance. A matrix is said to be having diagonal dominance if in every row the diagonal element numerical value of the diagonal element is greater than or equal to sum of the numerical values of all the other elements in that row, that is modulus of ai is greater than or equal to sigma k not equal to a modulus of I k, I is equal to 1 to n, and this greater than sign must hold good at least in one equation. So, we rewrite the equations in such a fashion that the coefficient matrix A will have diagonal dominance, and then from the first equation we express x1 in terms of x2, x3, etc., xn, and from the second equation we express x2 in terms of x1, x3, etc., xn. Like that we express the unknown variables x1, x2, xn in terms of these quantities. This is the starting point. Now, the first method we consider is the Jacobi method. Now, we start with approximation, initial approximation x1 0, x2 0, etc., xn 0. If no better estimates are obtained or known to us beforehand, what we do is we take them as zeros, x1 0 as 0, x2 0 as 0, etc. So, we substitute these initial approximate values in the right hand sides of these equations 3. Thereby, we will get better values for x1, x2, xn. These better values of x1, x2, xn are denoted as x11, x21, xn1, that is the first iteration values. Next, we substitute these first iteration values in the right hand sides of equation 3 and thereby obtain the second iteration values x12, x22, etc., xn2. We carry on this procedure until two successive iteration values coincide up to the required number of decimal places. Now, when such a coincidence of successive iterations takes place, we say the sequence of iterations has convergency. Now, if the kth iteration values and k plus 1th iteration values coincide up to the required number of decimal places, then we take x1 is equal to x1k, x2 is equal to x2k, etc., xn is equal to xnk. This is the Jacobi method, and this is the form of the Jacobi iteration scheme. The k plus 1th iteration values are obtained in terms of the kth iteration values. Now, in matrix notation, this Jacobi iteration scheme can be written like this: xk plus 1 is equal to h into xk plus c, where h is called the iteration matrix, it is minus d inverse, etc., where this L, D and U, they are nothing but the coefficient matrix A is split and written as the sum of the lower triangular matrix, diagonal matrix plus the upper triangular matrix. As an example, let us consider the same example which was considered in the Gauss-Jordan method. Now, before starting the iteration procedure, we must write the given equations in such a fashion that the system coefficient matrix has diagonal dominance. So, the rearranged system of equations are like this: 10x plus 2y plus z is equal to 9, etc., so that you can see the diagonal dominance is there. Now, we start in the Jacobi method with the initial approximation as 0, 0, 0. Now, the Jacobi iteration scheme for this given system is this: xk plus 1 is equal to minus 0.1 into 2yk plus zk plus 0.9, yk plus 1 is equal to minus 0.2 into 2xk minus 2zk minus 2.2, etc., where k takes values 0, 1, 2, etc. Now, if I substitute these initial approximation values 0, 0, 0 in the right hand sides from the first equation with k is equal to 0, if I put y0 as 0, z0 as 0, I will get x1 is equal to 0.9. Similarly, if I substitute x0 as 0, z0 as 0, I will get y1 is equal to minus 2.2. Similarly, from the third equation, you will get z1 is equal to 2.2. Now, we substitute these first approximation or first iteration values in the right hand sides and obtain second iteration with k is equal to 2. Like that, if I proceed on with the various iterations, the values obtained, they are tabulated here for various iteration values 1, 2, 3, etc. Now you see the 6th iteration values and the 7th iteration values, they coincide up to 2 decimal places. So convergency is there in the sequence of iterations, and so we declare that the solution for the given system is x is equal to 1, y is equal to -2, z is equal to 3, and you can check the solution by substituting them in the given system of equations. Now the same Jacobi iteration scheme, we can also put it in the matrix form as like this: xk plus 1 is equal to, this is the iteration matrix H into xk plus C, the constant matrix, k taking values 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Now we shall consider the Gauss-Seidel iteration method. In the Jacobi method, after obtaining x1 k plus 1 from the first equation, we have used again kth iteration values in the second equation to obtain x2 k plus 1, whereas already by first equation we have a better value for x1. So what we do is, in the Gauss-Seidel iteration method, we use that better value of x1, namely x1 k plus 1, to obtain x2 k plus 1. And in the third equation, we use x1 k plus 1 and x2 k plus 1 so as to obtain a better value for x3. Like that, we use whatever better values are obtained for the unknowns in the next stage. The Gauss-Seidel iteration scheme can be written like this: the k plus 1 the iteration value of x1 is this, obtained from the first equation. Because already x1 k plus 1 is there, we use that in the second equation. Like that, the already obtained better values from the previous equations x1 k plus 1, x2 k plus 1, etc., xn minus 1 k plus 1, they are used to obtain xn k plus 1. Now this is the Gauss-Seidel iteration method, and this method, when you write it in the matrix form, it can be written like this: xk plus 1 is equal to h into xk plus c, where this h, called the iteration matrix, is minus d plus l inverse into u, and the constant matrix C is equal to d plus L inverse into B. Now let us apply this method to the same example which I considered previously, and for that example, after writing the equations in the diagonal dominance form, the Gauss-Seidel iteration scheme is this: xk plus 1 is equal to this minus 0.12 yk plus zk plus 0.9, yk plus 1 is equal to minus 0.2 into xk plus 1, the value obtained from the first equation is used here, and the previous value of zk is there like this. And already xk plus 1 and yk plus 1 are known, so they are used in the third equation to obtain zk plus 1. Now we use again these iterations, k is equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. on this right hand sides, and we start with the initial approximation 0, 0, 0, substituting x0, 0, y0, 0 and z0, 0 in the right hand side, you will get x1 as 0.9 from the first equation. So the value of x now is 0.9. We use that x value 0.9 and the previous value of z, namely 0, in the second equation, and thereby obtain y1 as minus 2.29. And using this, x is equal to 0.9 and y is equal to minus 2.9, the better values in the third equation, we will get the z value, and the z value is 3.067. So these are the first iteration values here. We carry on this procedure until two consecutive iterations coincide. We see the third iteration and fourth iteration coincide, and therefore we have convergency, and the solution is x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2, z is equal to 3, which can be verified by substituting in the given equations. Now see, in the Gauss-Seidel method, the required number of iterations for convergency is less. Now actually we can show that if the coefficient matrix has diagonal dominance, both the Jacobi method as well as the Gauss-Seidel method, they have convergency, and the Gauss-Seidel method converges twice as fast as the Jacobi method. Now this is as far as the iteration methods are concerned. Now whenever we are dealing with these systems of solving systems of equations, now there is a problem. Sometimes it may happen that the coefficients of the equations, if they are slightly changed, then the solution gets very much affected. whenever such thing happens, we say the given system of equations is an ill-conditioned system. For example, I start with these equations: x plus 5y is equal to 17, 1.5x plus 7.501 is equal to y is equal to 25.503. The solution for this system of equations you can easily see as x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3. Now, if I slightly change these coefficients, suppose I correct this or round off these to two decimal places, thereby replace 7.501 as 7.50, 25.503 as 20.50, the slight correction, then what will happen? The solution now becomes x is equal to 17, y is equal to 0. So, due to these minor changes in the coefficients, there is a wide difference in the solution. So, this we call it as an ill-conditioned system, and in literature we have methods of solving the ill-conditioned systems also. So, this is as far as the problem of solving system of linear equations. There are other methods. You are already familiar with the determinant methods, namely the Cramer's rule and finding out the inverse of the coefficient matrix to solve a system of equations. There are other methods known as the relaxation methods also, but out of all these methods on computers nowadays, it is easier and better advised to have this Gauss-Seidel method to be used whenever we solve system of linear equations by these iteration methods.